Welcome to Animals Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin McKenzie, and I'm so happy to be joined this week by some special guests. My friend Joanne George is here. How you doing, Joanne?
Hi, thanks for having me here.
Nice to have you here on Animals Voice. And with Joanne are Smiley and Pal. Smiley and Pal, who are internet sensations, and this is so exciting to have you here and talk about this work. So thank you for being here today.
Oh, great.
So I want to dive right in. I've got Pal just chewing on a treat in my hand, and at some point that's going to become my thumb, and I can't wait for that. How did this all begin for you? I guess we start with Smiley.
Yeah.
So how did your journey with Smiley begin?
I've had Smiley for about 13 years now. I was working as a veterinary technician at a hospital, and we heard about him. He was born in a puppy mill in Ontario here, and he was still there at about age 2, and he needed to get out of there. So we had gone in there as veterinary technicians and veterinarians to, treat some of the dogs, and Smiley came home with me.
Nice. And then your life changed forever.
Absolutely. And, people see him as he is now, and, he's absolutely a perfect dog, well-mannered, and he does so much for people, and he's a therapy dog. But you know what, when we first got him, he had, his issues. He had, really never been out of that puppy mill. He wasn't house trained. He was very destructive. He was stressed. He was scared, so we put the work in. And actually, I truly didn't intend on keeping him. I got him out of there just to find him a home.
Yeah, foster and take care of him.
Yeah, get him ready for a home. But back then, there was no social media. And we didn't get to see all these wonderful dogs out there that were born with disabilities and, And when it came time to finding him a home, nobody would take him.
Oh, that's
he even went out on a trial for a couple of weeks, and he was brought back.
No.
Everybody thought it would be too difficult to have a blind dog. They would go to the cottage. They would say, we go to the cottage. We couldn't have a blind dog. Oh, we like hiking in the trails. Oh, we couldn't have a blind dog. We want to have kids. We couldn't have a blind dog. And so he ended up just staying because truly I couldn't get him adopted. And that's why even more so I really put him out there showing people that, it doesn't matter if they're blind or not. They make such wonderful pets. So
You mentioned social media, and that back then there wasn't a lot of social media yet. Did you have any idea when you started posting on social media
No,
what was going to happen?
No. And I had friends, I would just post my dog on my Facebook account, and people kept friends saying, oh, you should get Smiley's own Facebook page. And I just remember going, I am not going to be one of those people that have a Facebook page for my dog.
Right.
So I wouldn't do it. And then, when Smiley, and that was probably maybe 3 years ago, went viral, those first, pictures just went viral and all the news companies. And
For our listeners or our viewers who aren't familiar yet with Smiley, can you clarify when you say he went viral? Talk a little bit about exactly what happened back then, because you have over 100,000 followers on Instagram, don't you?
Yes. Oh yeah,
That's a lot of people.
116,000, and on Facebook I think it's about 45,000. But anyway, some pictures were shared, and it just how does anything go viral? I don't know. You know what I mean? But his story all of a sudden went viral, and literally every day my phone was just ringing from somewhere in the States. And, he was this blind dog, now a therapy dog, helping others. And truly, his pictures just made people smile. And then even more so perfect, his name was Smiley, because he looks like he's smiling.
At all times.
And so, this is the kind of thing you want to see go viral. I really believe. You know what?
Yeah.
He didn't go viral because I put funny hats on him or dress him up in funny costumes or train him to do, crazy tricks.
Yes,
he went viral because of, making people feel good.
Yeah.
And, that inspiring part of his story, of being in a puppy mill, and now he's this, and look what he does for everybody. So I love that. And I'm proud that this kind of thing went viral. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that go viral that a lot of people don't to go viral. So this we're very proud of.
I know Pal. Pal is also weighing in on the interview right
Says,
now.
hey, what about me?
So it's, you're talking about things going viral, that you want to go viral, and the fame that suddenly popped up with Smiley. I want to go backwards though a little bit. Tell me about what was that process of Smiley becoming a therapy dog with St. John Ambulance?
So that was about 7 years ago. And, I would be taking him just for walks around, Stouffville. And, people would stop and meet him and, want to hear a bit of his story. So I'd give them the very shortened version. And you could see they were just, they'd be down on their knees and, with a tear in their eye and so moved by him and seeing how happy he is and how, that he could handle all this that was given to him. And, he's super, super cute, so that helps. But, I saw how he helped people just out on the street, or when we would go to see my grandma at the nursing home, and, how long it would take us to get there because so many people wanted to see him. And, he was just so gentle and so perfect. I just thought, wow, I need to be able to share him with as many people as I can.
Yeah.
And so I thought, wow, he would make one of these perfect therapy dogs that I'd heard of. And so I went searching about therapy dogs and obviously found St. John Ambulance. And we right away got right into that. We went for the orientation. First, that's just with me, just to really hear about the program. Mm-hmm. And then he went for his evaluation and obviously passed with flying colors.
With flying colors,
yeah,
yes. So, I mean, you've helped so many people. I know for me, here's what my introduction to you was. My daughters are avid readers, and we went into the library in Stouffville, and there was a sign, a poster there that said that you could register to read to Smiley, the blind therapy dog. And my daughters were like, "Oh, Daddy." And I'm like, of course, yes. So we signed up, and I mentioned it to someone here at the office, and they all looked at me like I was crazy, that I hadn't heard of Smiley. This is going back at like a year and a half or so now. And so I started to look you guys up on the internet, and it was like, oh, and I live in the same town as you. I am a dope that I haven't heard about you guys. And I was just amazed at the places you've been. Can you share like some of your adventures, New York City and the media? Tell me about some of those appearances.
The first we were contacted by the Meredith Vieira show in New York City, and they had us come out there to do, and actually first they came to Stouffville and they filmed him at home, and they went to the library with us and filmed what he does there as a therapy dog. And then they had us come out to New York City, and he flew on the plane, right with us, right at our feet. And we were on this show, and that was the first real experience, it's just amazing. And then even afterwards, walking through New York City, for some reason, his biggest following is in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at the insights,
analytics that they're giving,
Instagram, New York City is the biggest city that followers. We'd be in Times Square, and people were like, oh my goodness, and people recognized him.
That's gotta be mind-blowing
in the
for
airport, we had a family at the airport come running over to us that they live in Vancouver, and which was great because they're Canadian. And just the night before, I think he was on I don't know, Canada AM maybe or something like that. And they had just seen him last night, and my goodness, there he is. And then we've been to New York City 2 other times after that for different promotions, and we do meet and greets there for all his followers that are around there. So that's a lot of fun. And
that's
my son's
awesome.
been involved. I have a 7-year-old son that's, been involved in this right from the beginning, and he's, just, it's a great experience for him. And we were invited to, we've been to Parliament Hill twice, but this recent one, we got to meet Prime Minister Trudeau. So that was just amazing. And my whole family went, or, my husband Darren and Shepard, we all went, and that was just...
Darren feel like he's just a passenger at this point, and his life has just been sucked up by all of this?
Yeah, but he's great about it all.
Wonderful, yeah.
I feel like I'm a passenger,
Well, this is it.
I'm just the one holding the leash. It's all about Smiley, not me.
I was talking to someone recently from a fundraising organization, and fundraising is my main role here, and sometimes you're looking for that common ground. And I shared this story with you, and I didn't think the talk was going particularly well. And he was sharing with me, oh yeah, usually we give to things that help humans, and He goes, but I do some work with St. John Ambulance. I said, oh, well, you must know Smiley. And it changed the complexion of the entire dialogue. And he referred to Smiley as being the owner in the situation.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And that you guys are the pets at home. And so Smiley has opened doors for me too. And I thought, yes, pal, we're going to get to your story too. So, I mean, what are the challenges of living with and raising blind dogs?
I would say from the beginning, from first getting them, is learning how dogs learn, and especially how a blind dog learns. It's, I was been a dog trainer for, 25 years. But, my technique and my sort of theories really had to change because it was more now on instincts and, energy a lot. He doesn't see me, but he feels me, and they're very sensitive to energy and feelings. So I really had to, get in check with my feelings. And, it really taught me about, patience and, and using very good energy. We were, that reminds me, speaking of, we were up on stage with Cesar Millan several times. Oh. And the first time we went on, I was very, very nervous as it was coming time. And I was, had that shaky feeling. Yeah. And Smiley has never been nervous. He's a very, confident dog. Hi. And all of a sudden I realized he was shaking, and it was because he was
picking up on your anxiety.
He felt my anxiety.
Isn't it incredible?
Yeah. And then, but that was the thing that made me go, oh, that's enough of that. And I checked myself and, got my feelings under control and took a deep breath and did it for him, so he's taught me a lot. But, just really learning how dogs learn, and not just me as a trainer trying to teach him verbal commands and things like that. It's more, you really develop an understanding of your dog and have a real bond with your dog, I feel, even more so than a dog with sight, because, you're just using, different things, like I said, your energy. But then after that, Smiley is now 15 years old, so has certainly getting to that point, of just an old dog special needs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
I think for me, you know what, Joanne? I don't mean to interrupt you. When we came in this room before the recording, and I was guiding Pal, and I was watching Smiley and Pal navigate into a room they've never been in.
Yeah.
There are some chairs in the corner.
Yeah,
There's the stand-up behind us. And even that struck me. It's like, these are things I don't think of with my dogs, right? So that's your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Around your home.
I will tell you, when I'm with a dog that can see, I'm always like, thinking that he's going to walk into, that off that cliff, and I'm like, oh yeah, that dog can see. I'm so used to that.
You're conditioned.
That no dog can see that this is how life is. No, you go over there. He says, oh, hi.
So we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to get into talking about Pal's story and hear a little bit more about your adventures and all the good that you're doing. Yes, Pal. We will be right back on Animals Voice Podcast. We thank all of our listeners and our viewers. Please continue to share the program. We love Pal's like, listen, man, get to the break.
Yeah.
Please continue to share the program. Continue to give us input on what you would like to see covered on Animals Voice, and maybe Pal will be the new permanent co-host. We'll be right back on Animals Voice Podcast.
It was the following week. Put him on a plane, and we went to the airport.
I follow you on social media, as I talked about, and I remember seeing your posts where you were off to the airport to pick up Pal, and it's just so exciting to see that you were bringing another blind dog into your life.